All right, the Warriors season has officially come to its conclusion. The dramatic, drawn out, up and down season for the Warriors is officially over. Now that we're here, I want to take a deeper dive into what really went wrong with such a promising looking team 7-8 months ago. Last year, they surprised pretty much everyone and won an NBA championship. And this year, they barely got into the playoffs. And once they did, they resembled a team that barely got into the playoffs. So again, what exactly happened? Today's video is sponsored by DraftKings Sportsbook. The NBA playoffs, they're in full swing. Surprises, upsets, letdowns, it's all here. DraftKings wants to make sure you get the most out of your NBA playoff experience, and they're back with an offer you really can't miss. All new customers have to do is bet just $5 on any pregame moneyline wager, and they'll receive $150 in bonus bets if their bet hits. Wondering what you can do with that $150? Try DraftKings same game parlays, where you can combine multiple bets into one big bet for a significantly bigger payout. If mobile sports betting is not yet available in your state, don't trip. Try DraftKings Daily Fantasy, where they offer cash prize contests for basically every single sport. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app right now. New customers use promo code Swishout, bet $5 on any pregame moneyline wager, and get $150 in bonus bets if your bet hits. That's promo code Swishout, only at DraftKings Sportsbook.
Quick takes, let's get it. Draymond Green has apologized to the Warriors for his altercation with Jordan Poole. The Warriors are still in the process of disciplining Green for the incident, in which sources say he threw a punch, but Meyer said he does not expect him to miss any games due to punishment.
Here's what changes things. We see it. Okay, whenever tape is involved and you see or hear it, it always makes the situation worse.
We can't pretend like the Draymond Green Jordan Poole incident wasn't really the first crack in what seemed like such a tight-knit organization. When we first got the news that Draymond punched Jordan, it felt like something slight. I remember the footage released of Jordan Poole shooting hours after the incident happened, and it felt like, okay, the punch couldn't have been that bad. But then the footage leaked, and the whole outlook on what felt like originally boys being boys, or specifically Draymond being Draymond, it felt completely different. We knew Poole's family, friends, loved ones all saw that, and there was no way the relationship could just continue after a punch that significant releasing to the public. Draymond also didn't get a real punishment. He pretty much just stepped away from the team and got a fine, and that felt a little weird as well. I guess to make up for it to some extent, at least for Jordan's sake, the man did get paid. Maybe part of what looks to be a massive overpay now was for Golden State to prove to Jordan how valuable they view him. Jordan Poole and Andrew Wiggins simultaneously got massive deals, which seemed to be great for their future at that specific time. Both players were crucial in their previous championship pursuit, but it did raise immediate questions about their present, or at least their core. What does this mean for Draymond, essentially on the last year of his deal, and how will this team maintain the future while still trying to retain the core? It's crazy because Draymond actually hinted at this problem really before it became Golden State's reality. Even before the championship season last year, he talked about how the mix of old players and young players have never proven to win an NBA championship. Well, last season, they did it. But the inevitable problem that brewed eventually showed its ugly head this year. The Warriors started their season out extremely rocky, 3 games below 500 in the first 15 games of the year, losing their first 8 games on the road. It's crazy because how their season actually started was a good representation of how their season ultimately ended. Steph was averaging 33 on the most ridiculous splits, and outside of him and Wiggins, they really didn't have any help. Jordan Poole, after getting that contract, he regressed significantly. Klay Thompson was a walking brick, and the bench, it was laughably bad. Also, they came out as one of the worst defensive teams in the NBA, which, if you watch the Warriors in the past, even in the beginning stages, they were built on how solid they were defensively, so this was extremely abnormal. Also, their young players, specifically James Wiseman. The Warriors not being able to develop this man for whatever reason, or at least get back real compensation for a second overall pick, that set this organization back big time. With the Warriors, James Wiseman just looked like an overgrown high schooler that you just stuck in the middle of the Warriors dynasty. James, for whatever reason, just couldn't grasp the speed of the NBA and mainly how the Warriors' culture offensively and defensively operated. Net rating, terrible. Offensively, terrible. Defensively, terrible. Rebound percentage, terrible. In every which way, he was dragging down a team in pursuit of their 5th championship. So eventually, they felt like they had to let him go. For this man, mind you, at the time, a 21-year-old, 7-foot second overall pick, they got back Gary Payton, who they already had, in 2 seconds. That's just a massive fumble. Also, the weird, strange Andrew Wiggins absence saga at the tail end of the season, I also believe that hurt him. I love Draymond, but I believe last year, Andrew Wiggins had kind of taken that spot as their most valuable two-way player. In a wing league, especially in last year's playoffs, he was their best wing defender, and offensively, he could stretch the floor, and he was one of their only players that could create off the dribble when the system kind of broke down a bit. With Andrew leaving in the midst of already Steph being gone, he was literally recovering from an injury when Andrew left. That just hurt the flow of a team already trying to find its groove mid-season. Then, for me, the turnovers with this team. Now, historically, this has always been a team that struggled taking care of the ball. Even in their glory days, they struggled with turnovers and stuff like that. So it's not anything new per se. But in the past, when they struggled taking care of the ball, they were one of the best defensive teams in the league, and they had one of the most potent offenses in the league, especially when they had KD. So they had wiggle room to not be perfect because they were perfect literally everywhere else. But this year, with them being average to below average for the majority of the year defensively, and offensively them never quite being the same with Jordan Poole's regression, Klay Thompson's early inconsistencies, and Andrew Wiggins being in and out of the lineup, they didn't have that wiggle room to also be the worst team taking care of the ball. In the playoffs, that trend followed, and every single team they're near at the top of turnovers per game, they're exactly with Golden State at home. So even for a team like Golden State, it's extremely hard to overcome a situation where you're turnover prone like they were, foul prone like they were, average defensively like they were, and very Steph reliant offensively like they were, and still be a great team. And also, Jordan Poole. I feel for this man because some Golden State fans, they can be sick, greedy, mean-spirited, and this man has been through a lot these last 7-8 months, so I feel for him. But his regression really set this team back. It just did. It's sad because this man's contract didn't even start yet, and it looked bad. Defensively, he had one of the worst defensive ratings for this team all year. In the playoffs, he was damn near unplayable for a team that's already thin. It's crazy because when I watch Tyrese Maxey for the Sixers, all I can think about is, damn, he's giving Philly kind of what Golden State got from Jordan Poole last playoffs. Like that spark and that juice, that flashiness that kind of keeps the offense afloat when it dies a bit. That's what Jordan Poole did last playoffs, and this year, he's been quite literally the opposite. In fact, if you look at Jordan Poole series by series by series, going back to last year's playoffs, he's progressively gotten worse every single playoff series of his entire career. So for me, that Draymond chemistry destroying punch, it really hurt the dynamic of that team. I don't think he was ever quite able to feel comfortable being the soul, the voice, the leader for the young guys specifically, like he would have been if that punch never happened. Also, how bad they were on the road all year, it hurt them in the playoffs. And after the Lakers took game 1, Golden State never quite got back traction, and ultimately it ended them. The lack of development with their young core, that also hurt this team. James Wiseman obviously got traded. Kuminga got doghoused in the playoffs. Jordan Poole regressed. Moses Moody had his moments, but it wasn't enough, and that made them way too Steph or bust. Not having enough valuable, versatile players with size, it just destroyed this team, and it made Steve Kerr have to be way too creative. If he plays Draymond and Looney, he's going to sacrifice offense because they're both not valuable offensive threats. If he doesn't play Looney, he's going to sacrifice the glass. If he doesn't play Draymond, he's going to sacrifice defensively. If he doesn't play, or if he does play Jordan Poole, he's going to sacrifice defensively, but he possibly can get something back offensively. He didn't really get that, but it was just way too many ins and outs in order for him to be creative, and it just was a disaster, man. It was. If you guys like this video, let me know in the comment section what you guys think about this team going forward. Contracts, it's a lot. Jordan Poole's contract didn't even start yet. Draymond Green, I mean, he can leave after this season. I don't think he will. He said he wanted to be a Warrior for life. Steph's on a mega deal. Klay got 2 more years left. What do you think is going to happen with this team? I think they can bounce back. I don't think it's over like people think. I don't think it is. Follow me on social media sites. Turn on my post notifications. Do all that great stuff, guys. And until next time, as always, Stay tuned.